take Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin has obviously proven through a lot of volatility over the years that, as one of my good friends like to say, the all-time high is somewhere in the future, and it always will be in his view, right? So he's a true Bitcoin maxi, right? On the other hand, with Bitcoin at 100,000, right? Let's say the wildest people, they say it could go to 1 million, right? I think that would make it a bigger asset class than gold. It's not unthinkable. But even if it went to 1 million over the next 5 years or something, that's 10x, right? I mean, it's not like it would be outrageous to find a good stock or do an options trade or do something smart and make 10x, right? So it's kind of gone out of that, and that's like an extreme scenario in my view. Whereas the same friend bought a month's salary worth of Bitcoin at 77 cents many years ago, right? And he's made his money back 130,000 times on that, right? And that's kind of interesting, right? Because some people bought Bitcoin in the very early days. I actually myself bought Bitcoin below $200 at one point. Unfortunately, sold it far too early. But that sort of excitement that this is something that could take a poor person to be very rich, that's not Bitcoin anymore, right? Because even if it does 5x, 10x, that's not an outlandish return. You should not to be sniffed at, but in many places in the world, if you get a little bit lucky, you can make 5 or 10x, right? So I think that sort of excitement. So the way I look at it, not owning a single, well, I do own it. One Bitcoin is sitting in the National Museum in Denmark as a representative of the history of money, but that's about it. And it's a physical representation of it. But I do have investments in crypto, but the way I do it is more finding some funds, because there's so many huge number of altcoins out there. Very, very, it's more than a full-time job if you try to roughly keep a tab on it, right? So I find people that follow these things very closely, get into new projects. Typically, these guys are very eager to get institutional style investors, so they will get big discounts on the token value that I couldn't negotiate myself. So they also get it cheaper than I would, hopefully make better choices. And then they will have, out of 50 coins, they will have 46 misses, and they'll have 2 that sort of does okay, and then they'll do 2 massive home runs, right? And that's the way I would address it, right? I mean, I think it's absolutely fine. I think it would be bordering on irresponsible for a broadly diversified portfolio not to have a couple of percent in sort of the bigger crypto. I think that now, 5 years ago, people thought it as irresponsible to have them. Now I think it's really irresponsible not to have them, right? Just in case that this development continues. But the way I approach it, specifically myself, is to find people that are smarter than me, follow it better, get better prices than me, and then take a lot of punts on new projects, because there will be new projects that do 100x, 500x. And if you can just get 1 or 2 of them, you can afford an awful lot of mistakes, right? And I have to say that particularly my main fund has done far better than Bitcoin in the last 6 years by deploying exactly that approach, right? But it is based on a lot of misses and an occasional very, very big home run, right?